About that move with the former vice president of the National Fraternal Order of Police, Jay McDonald. Jay, good to have you with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I want to play a little bit of what the president had to say today about cities and states if they don't get this problem under control. Here's what he said.
If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
And in response, Joe Lockhart, a well-known high-profile Democrat, tweeting this: if the president tries to send the military into states to attack protesters, his words, the House should convene again and file articles of impeachment. The rule of law still matters. So, Jay, where is the rule of law in this? Because the president says that's what he's trying to do, is to reestablish law and order in these cities.
Well, I have extreme amount of confidence in America's law enforcement officers, and in many places the protests have been peaceful. But in far too many places in America, those police officers are risking their lives to protect those protesters have come under attack. We've seen law enforcement officers shot in Milwaukee and in Cincinnati. We saw a deputy stabbed in Jacksonville, Florida. We saw a federal law enforcement officer killed in Oakland, California. So the first thing we need to do is to stop the violence, and I have confidence that America's law enforcement can do that.
So what about this issue of the military being deployed to U.S. streets? I mean, you have spent time representing officers and being one yourself there on the front lines. Is that something that in some of these situations they would welcome in a partnership? Well,
I don't know what the future might hold for something like that. I've never been in a situation where we've called the active duty military, but I will tell you that the National Guard has been called up in 26 states to provide essential backup to law enforcement officers so that they could focus on protecting their communities. And quite frankly, that partnership has extended well beyond these last few days of civil unrest. And the partnership between the National Guard and law enforcement goes back decades and decades, and they provide a valuable resource to the communities. So, like I said, I have extreme amount of confidence in law enforcement backed up by the National Guard, and I think that if given the chance, they can restore order.
All right, Jay, I want to quickly ask you about this decision in New York, where two people accused of throwing a bomb, quote unquote, at a police vehicle have been approved for bond. That was appealed. It was shot down. It says prosecutors strenuously objected, but both these individuals apparently released and back on the streets. Your reaction?
Well, it's outrageous. We have the deadliest of consequences, throwing Molotov cocktails and bombs at police officers, and we need to take that extremely seriously. And those who are held to commit crimes of violence like that need to be held accountable to a jury of their peers, and that needs to happen in all cases of violence all across the country, where officers are being targeted with rocks and bottles. In Denver, Colorado, officers being run over by cars. There are agitators and opportunists.
Unfortunately,
yes,
Jay, we got to leave it there. We thank you for your time.